Chapter 14. I clung to Tobias' feathers. That was easy enough to do. Fly icing up on a glass or hang upside down on the ceiling, so this was nothing. I could feel the wind whipping around. It riled my wings, actually whistled through chinks and joints of my tiny exoskeleton. An incredible array of aromas assaulted my antennae. Unfortunately, many things seemed interesting were anything sweet, anything rotting, decayed, or putrid. A little like the tree morph I did early on, Rachel pointed out, it had the same interest in dead meat. Suddenly a monster! It loomed huge in my eyes. Small and me is still way too big. What the? What is it, Cassie asked? Oh man, I think it's a flea. It's not the size of a poodle, not even slightly cute. Wait a minute, Tobias cried. Are you telling me I have fleas? Just one. Now he's gone. He probably jumped off. Actually, I was lying. The flea is working its way along Tobias' skin beneath the feathers, looking for a good place to sink its penetrating, bloodthirsty tongue. But somehow, I didn't think Tobias would want to hear that. Okay, we're at the hospital, Tobias said. I'll take a low pass till you guys want to jump off. Kind of like an old war movie. You guys are the paratroopers. Good example, Margaret said. Ever saw in the old movies the paratroopers mostly get shot? Jake? Cassie whispered in thought space so no one could hear. Yeah? You could still drop out. Everyone understand. Thanks, but no. Tom or no Tom New York's have to be stopped. That's what I told myself anyway. I guess it was true. Okay, everything looks fine to me, Tobias said. I see an open window, no screen. You sure? Marco, in this light just I could tell you there's a single strand of spiderweb across the window, let alone a screen. He said spiderweb, Rachel moaned. Help me! Marco mimicked. By an absolutely terrible luck, the old version of Fly on the TV night before, and like fools, we all watched it. Ah, the memes. I don't understand what this means, Axe grumbled. Get ready, Tobias said. 3, 2, 1, bail. I left on his back up my wings, the slipstream so fast and tumbling end over end, but my speed dropped as I quickly regained control. Everyone okay? I see the window opening, Axe said. I saw him fly past like a buzzing, wobbling, careening jet fire. At least I think it was him. I fell in behind, following in his wake. But it turned out Axe was wrong. What he thought was a window was actually a small sign on the side of a building. When flying should be pretty close to see anything, so he blazed on the face of the building, trying to spy it. Keep going, Tobias called. You're almost there. Suddenly I felt a rush of cooler air building out at us. Here we go, I said. I turned the current of air and seconds later was in relative darkness inside the building. Okay, we're looking for anything that might be a miniature Yerk pool. Everyone said Axe has been near one, so try to remember that smell and see if you're in time and pick it up. I'll tell you one thing, I bet I know where the maternity ward is. I smell a lot of dirty diapers, Rachel said. Okay, let's split up how you planned. Axe and Cassie, you're with me. Rachel, Marco, be careful. Rachel and Marco peeled off and soon disappeared. The three of us flew out into what we figured was a hallway since it seemed very long and had bright lights. I smell poop. I smell a banana. At least I think it's a banana. And I smell more poop, Cassie said. Say one thing where flies, you have to find poop, hire a fly. And now I'm just imagining a fly with a little detective hat. Well, maybe a little pipe instead of proboscis. Below us, barely visible, caught the actual sight of big moving oval shapes atop people's heads. But their limited size seemed like floating islands of hair moving a blurry sea. How's our time, Axe? We have used 20% of our time, Axe reported. Good, that's on plan, trying to reassure myself as much as the two of them. Ah, what is it? The human tried to reach up and hit me, Axe said, but he was very slow. Hey, Cassie said, do you smell that? More poop? No. Similar to poop, but different? A weird smell. My fly brain doesn't know what it is. I'm trying to remember. I too am smelling something, Axe reported, but not very strong. I think we turned right. Right turn, I agreed. Now it's getting to scent too. A dark, deep, rich aroma. Sweet and oily. Marco, Rachel called. You guys have anything? Barely here, must await. Nothing? We're at the limits of thought-speak range, Axe said. Now it sounds more powerful. In there, I said, I think it's a door. We landed. My 6 legs, each arm with sharp talons and sticky pads, gripped the smooth surface of the door. Here's a question, Cass said. How do you open a door in your 1/8 of an inch long? Down to the floor, we can walk or fly into the crack. Seconds later, on the linoleum, marching jerkily forward, and passed beyond the door, then looked and instantly took flight. Oh, there's something in here, Cass said. Over there, see a big, shiny-looking superdome kind of thing? Yeah, I think that might be it. Does anyone else... Do you see anyone else in the room? Any humans? No one did. Okay, Axe, you demorph first. Someone barges in your body, more useful than two of us. Yes, Prince Jake. Axe, you really don't have to call me that. Yes, Prince Jake. I am beginning to change. Cool, Cassie and I hanging on the ceiling. Units later saw a vast eyeball stuck at the end of a long stalk come shooting toward us where we hung upside down. One Axe's extra stuck-mounted eyes. It turned to look at us. Then a violent vibration in the air, the eye disappeared from sight. And a second vibration of something heavy falling. Axe, you okay? Yes, there was a human here, but he is unconscious now. Good job, Axe. Chapter 15. We demorphed as quickly as we could. My human eyesight returned to saw Axe staying calmly in his andalite form. Against the far wall was a man in a white coat holding a clipboard. He was crumpled and unconscious but alive. Knowing your brother's a controller, I did not kill this creature. I feared it may be him. No, it's not, but that's a good instinct, Axe. Whoever he is, he's someone's brother or son or even father. Well, that's one start for morality at least. I took one look at my own body. I was barefoot like others came out of a morph, and wearing my slimming bike shorts and tight t-shirt. Even Axe can figure out more most minimal clothing. But I seen that with my usual legs and arms. You okay, Cassie? I'm fine. She won't look at the shiny super stone to us flies. It's a stainless steel vat about 8 feet across. I laughed. You know what this is? It's a whirlpool, a jacuzzi. Someone just put a lid over it. Why would they have this in a hospital? For therapy, I said, people with muscle strains or back problems. I stepped aside the whirlpool and grabbed the handles and lifted. It was opened easily on hydraulic hinges, and I looked inside and I recoiled. The water was sludgy, brown, and viscous, and rolling with slugs. Yerks, in their natural state. Yerks, Axe said, that combination of disgust and pure hatred Lights always showed. A portable yerk pool. There must be a small cadron nearby. Yerks must live with their host bodies every 3 days to return to Yerk pool, and Yerk pool they feed by soaking up various nutrients, but especially Cadrona rays are like rays to their home sun. Cadronas are artificial sources of those rays. Can they see us? Now I mean? No, Prince Jake, in their natural state they're blind. I was slowly around a whirlpool, my foot hit something solid. The pump. It was disconnected, a wire pulled out of the wall socket, the control panel had been ripped away, exposing bare wires. Axe, what do you think would happen if all the yerks in their temperature of liquid suddenly went up by, say, 120 degrees, and the liquid was all agitated? Axe was puzzled. I believe the heat and agitation may destroy them. Well, that would be a pity. I made a quick decision. Axe, watch the door. Cassie, we may need you in some more dangerous morph. What do you got? Wolf? Perfect, but no howling. What are you gonna do? We came here to stop this operation, right? Well, wiping out 100 or so yerks would be a good way to start. I'm gonna hook this thing back together and jacuzzi us filthy creeps to death. There are no tools in the room, but I did find some tape and a pair of tweezers. That was all I needed. I started reconnecting wires, red to red, blue to blue, green to green. I have to switch this thing so I'll be automatically at maximum. Maximum heat, maximum jets. But all the while in the back of my head was this nagging feeling. It couldn't be this easy. I connected the last wire. Cassie finished transformation to her wolf body. She stood by patiently like a very big, tough-looking dog. Okay, time to boil some yerks. I reached down and stuck the plug in the outlet. It took a few seconds and the boiling sound began, the familiar jacuzzi bubbling. The door opened, a man and a woman both wearing white lab coats. For a split second they just froze and stared. Andalite, the one, yelped. Cassie's arm in a flash, she lifted and bit the one hard, knocking her to the floor. Axe moved toward the man, but he was fast. He dodged, staying out of range of the tail. I was still behind the whirlpool and out of sight. I was trying to focus on morphing into a tiger for the fight. But then 2 more men dressed in uniform as guards started plowing into the room, and the first one leveled a gun. Axe, I shouted, a gun! Axe's tail flashed. Ah! The controller screamed. The hand that had been holding the gun was no longer attached to his arm. Get back up to the pool area! Andalite, the second guard screamed to a walkie-talkie, then he drew his gun. Blam. Blam. They told me later there was a third shot, but I didn't hear it. A sledgehammer bow struck the side of my head. A ricochet. For a brief second I clung to consciousness, but then I swooned, and I fell. Face down in the pool. Face down in the bubbling, bulling mass of dying yerks. Chapter 16. Face down unconscious in a superheating yerk pool. I didn't know for how long. When I woke I had 2 terrifying, overwhelming feelings. One was suffocation. I breathed in a lungful of liquid from the pool. I came to, gasping, hacking, and gagging. I was alive, but I could barely breathe. Every breath was a struggle. I coughed and I think at one point I threw up. The second feeling was pain in my head, pain like nothing I'd felt before. It was like someone was drilling a hole in my ear, drilling straight into my brain. I wanted to scream, but I was still choking. I was on my knees on the floor of the hospital room wanting to cry from the pain and gasping every half breath of air. All the while a battle raged. They're trying to get in the doorway, but it's too near for more than 1 or 2 human controllers to attack. Axe's tail and Cassie's long wolf teeth are long to hold them, or not to hold them off. Another gunshot. Stop firing, you fool, someone shouted. The pool's in there. Visit free, eat your guts. Even in my condition, I can see Axe and Cassie couldn't last. I needed to morph, to join the battle, but I couldn't seem to do it. The pain or the lack of oxygen, I couldn't concentrate. My brain was fuzzy, drifting. Heard rumbling, a pounding from out the hallway outside. There were cries and screams of outrage, and suddenly in the room burst a huge black gorilla and a second wolf, Marco and Rachel. They had driven the attackers away, but only for a few seconds. Jake's hurt, Cassie say. He fell into a yerk pool. Marco grabbed Jake, Rachel, or get something to cover his face. Axe Cassie, he opened the door. I'm going to change morph. We need more firepower. I felt something being lifted out of the floor, a white cloth wrapped around my head. One of the lab coats on an injured controller, I guess. I was cradled in the human's arms of a gorilla. Rockabye baby, Marco joked. Hang in there, man, we're getting you out of here. I was still coughing and gasping, my breathing was at least improving. Now to speak back, I could breathe and keep from passing out. At the same time, something had happened to the pain in my head. It was diminishing, but instead of feeling more clear ahead, I felt worse, more confused. Get them, the controller yelled. Attack! Attack! The only one going to fit through the doorway was Rachel. I guess I'll have to make the door a little bigger. I got a glimpse of a fabric to hit my face, a flash thing huge and gray. Is it her relevant morph? Rachel, a voice in my head wondered, a voice surprised. A human! Boom, woomph, crunch. Now the door's plenty big, Rachel said. Wild screams and panic, cries of pain. I was bounced, slamming against the walls, and dropped at one point. Felt this go down a set of stairs. Felt like a hand grabbed me and was slipping me away. Finally, fresh air. We were running like mad for a shelter of stand trees in front of the hospital. Cassie, Marco said, you have a horse morph, right? Quick, before they figure out how to follow us. I was tossed to the dirt. That gorilla peeled back Dakota's cover my face. You alive? Man, that's intense. That's one hospital needs some redecorating. We're gonna put you on Cassie and we'll try to cover your retreat. My head, I said. Headache? No surprise, dude. Something wrong. I can't think. Don't worry, take a break, got under control, more or less. Unbelievable, said a voice. Could it be? Humans? What was that voice? Where was it coming from? Marco looked at me and saw me over the horse's back. Cassie. Cassie. A human, yes. And Rachel, the cousin. Human as well. My hand tried to pull the coat over my face. What was happening? There was a voice in my head. We were running now, running at full gallop through trees, across the lawns, down suburban streets where Cassie's hooves clattered loudly. We jumped a fence, I flew through the air and landed hard in the dirt. I felt pain, but it came from far away. The coat was loose, I looked around, trees everywhere, a panting horse nearby. I saw this but in a distant way, as if I was watching on TV. My eyes moved left, moved right. They moved all on their own, like someone else was focusing them. Cassie. I tried to say her name, Cassie, but no sound came out of my mouth. Don't struggle, Jake, a voice in my head said. It's pointless. What? Who was saying that? What was... Then a laugh only I could hear. Put that primitive human brain to work, Jake. Jake the Animorph. Jake the servant of Andalite filth. And then I knew. I knew what the voice was. A yerk. A yerk in my own head. I was a controller. Chapter 17. Very good. You figured it out, said the silent voice in my head, mocking me. No, no, no. Jake, are you alright? Cassie asked. Her mom thought she heard me cry out, but no, she's just concerned. Tobias landed overhead. Is he okay? I can't tell. He's alive, he's breathing, but it's like he's zoned out. I take him to a doctor. I wanted to tell them both to scream, they have me! They're inside of me! But I couldn't make my mouth move. It was like there was a roadblock. I could form thoughts to give the order to my lips and tongue to speak, but the order never got there. Struggle all you like, human. Fight me, the Yerk would. Go ahead, it won't matter in the end. I'm in your head. I am wrapped around your brain like a living blanket. No! I can read your thoughts. I control your body. I am tapped into your memory. I can read it like a book. Get out of my head. No, no. Oh, I don't think I want to do that, Jake. Why would I abandon such an interesting host? So you're the one who's driven Visifree half mad with rage. A kid. The midget. Midget? How'd you... Oh, you're surprised I know what Tom calls you? The irony really is sweet. Don't you get it, clever Jake? Don't you see what's happened, my little Animorph? Jake, Cassie had become human again. She knelt down beside me and looked in my eyes. He's alert. His eyes are tracking. Jake, can you hear me? It was a nightmare, that's what it was. Another nightmare. I'd wake up soon. I'd wake up and laugh. And laugh. I am Temrash114, formerly 252 of the Sultanar pool. I were promoted. I'm sure you're happy for me. You filthy slug, get out of my head. Do you want to know who my last host was? Who it was? Shut up, stop talking, go away! It wasn't real. It couldn't be real. It was Tom, of course. Your brother. I am the Yerk who controlled your brother. That got through my hysteria. What? I thought that might interest you. Yes, Tom was my host. Then he's free? Oh, you're even dumber than your brother. No, your brother's body is just given to a new Yerk, someone with a lower rank. I am too important now to be wasted on Tom. I have taken on a new and important project. A very special host. The governor? Jake, Tobias tried not speaking to me. You can hear me move your hand. Well, not a complete idiot, are you? Yes, I was given the most important post on this planet, but this is better still. Visifree is very determined to catch you. He will be surprised to learn you are human. I'll never tell you who the others. You mean Cassie, Margot, Rachel, Tobias sitting in the tree over our heads, and of course the one remaining Andalite, Exilmi Iskaroth Ishtil? We have to get him to a doctor, Cassie told Tobias. Just send Marco a ride. He was fully human, dressed in his morph clothes and walking gingerly out in shoes. Doctor? He needs a doctor? What's wrong with him? Nothing's wrong with me, I said suddenly. I'm fine. Only, I didn't say that. My mouth spoke the words, but I didn't say it. The Yerk had spoken from my mouth. No way, Cassie said. We're taking you to a doctor. You didn't answer for like 5 minutes. Maybe you have a concussion. My body set up. I'm sorry I scared you, Cassie, but I'm fine. Where are you going to take me? Back to the hospital? What if someone tries a blood test and it shows them an Animorph or something? Like what? Said Marcus on skeptical. How do I know? Maybe some leftover roach DNA. Look, I'm fine, okay? I'm going back up, Tobias said. Make sure no one's after us. See if Axel and Sorry, Rachel and Axe are okay. I keep saying that. He flapped his wings and flew away over the trees. As soon as we know Rachel and Axe are safe, we can break up and go our separate ways, Mouth said. The Yerk was considering his next move. I couldn't hear his thoughts, but I could feel him using my brain. He was digging for my memory, trying to learn quickly. He was using my brain, using me. I had to do something quick, something to warn them. Sure, they'd guess what was happening. They were the two people in the whole world who were closest to me. Sure, they would realize I was no longer myself. Wouldn't they? I don't think there's much the Yerks can do right now, Margaret said to Cassie. We're deep in a national forest. It'll take a while for them to organize a search. They need helicopters and lots of humans. And they don't even know what they're looking for. He laughed. After all, I still think Randallites. Yeah, but that means they're going to be very careful what Axe Mouth said. We need to hide him. I think we have parboiled 20 Yerks in a pool. They're going to be very upset. It was incredible. It was shocking to listen to. He was using my voice, my inflection. He was saying the words I would have said. Marco and Cassie would never guess. As far as I could see or hear, the Yerk in my brain was me. Yes, little human, the Yerk sneered silently. Your body is my home now. Mine. Body and mind under my control. Forget resistance. It is futile. No host has ever overpowered a Yerk. It is impossible. I felt a dark wave of terror wash over me. He was telling the truth. I knew he was. No host had ever defeated a Yerk. Resistance was futile. Futile. I'd never be free, just like Tom. If he moved on, they'd just give me to another. I was their slave. Forever. There was a noise behind me, footsteps on pine needles and leaves, at the same time spiders came swooping down to land on a nearby branch. I turned around. Rachel. Hey cousin, I said. I see you made it okay. Then a touch on my shoulder. I spun around suddenly. I hadn't heard anyone else arriving. Axe just behind me. His eye face was close to mine, his big eyes watching me. And in that split second, hatred revealed itself. A hatred that crossed light years of space to play itself out on planet Earth. Andalite, the Yerk hissed silently, and that one word I heard the same fury and contempt I heard whenever Axe said the word Yerk. Only I heard it. The Yerk didn't say a thing, but, surprised, unaware, unprepared, he did curl my lip in an instinctive expression of revulsion. It was a small thing. It lasted only a second, and then he just knew how to say, hey, Axe, you did a great job back there when... And moved too fast to see, whipped his tail forward in a blink of an eye as scythe blade was leveled a quarter inch from my throat. Yerk, he said. Well, that deception didn't last long, it seems. Chapter 18. Axe, what are you doing, Cassie man? Are you nuts? Margot cried. What's your problem, Axe? My voice asked the Andalite, but he didn't answer. He didn't pull that deadly tail away. Prince Jake has been taken. He is a controller. What? Rachel snapped. Back off, Axe. You're crazy. My head was in the Yerk... Rather, his head was in the Yerk pool long enough for a Yerk to enter his head, and just now you all saw that expression. I am not human. I do not know every expression, so tell me, what was that look? This is crazy, Yerk tried disbelieving laugh. Marco, Cassie, please tell us none I'm okay. But I saw doubt in Marco's shrewd eyes. Yeah, I'm sure you're fine, Jake, but Cassie, didn't you say Jake seemed zoned out? Like he wouldn't answer for a few minutes even though he was awake? Cassie nodded. She too was looking suspicious. Yeah, he seemed normal, but he wouldn't answer me. I'm sorry, Jake, but you did act funny. It takes a while for Yerk to take full control of the host's brain, Axe said. During a time the host would be passive. He may even seem to be in a coma. I swear I could have kissed him right then. I wanted to yell, yes! Yes! You guys can't possibly believe this, my mouth said. I mean, okay, we have to be careful, but it's me. It's me, Jake, alright? Being Jake and all, you understand we take a minute to think this through, Rachel said. Axe, how are you supposed to know one way or the other? Tobias answered for him. The Yerks need to return to the pool and absorb control rates every 3 days. If we hold him for that long, we'll know. Now for the slightest edge of fear from the Yerk. He was measuring the odd, trying to decide what to do, but with Axe's tail blade, it kept my body very still. We can't hold him for 3 days, Cassie argued. His family go ballistic. They call the cops. Chapman realized he's not in school. The bad guys put 2 and 2 together. Look, hello? Hello? It's me, Jake, remember? I'm not a controller. Marco shook his head. If he is, if there's a Yerk in his head, he knows all his secrets. If he gets in touch with any other Yerk, we're all dead. We can't take that chance. Maybe Axe is right, maybe not. We can't guess wrong. I agree, Tobias said. If he's still Jake, he'll understand. If he's a controller, well, I guess we'll find out, won't we? Rachel, Marco asked. She met my gaze. Sorry, Jake, have to play it safe. You know that. Look, I argued. It's like Cassie said, my folks will go nuts. They'll call the police. They'll go on TV, ask if anyone's seen me. They'll put up posters. I mean, no offense to us, but I have the actual family, not some messed up aunts and uncles who wouldn't want to be taking care of me in the first place. People will notice if I disappear. I turned to Cassie. Cassie, come on, explain it to them. Come on, Cassie, I thought, come on, be hard for once. Don't feel for me. Don't be sweet, just this once. There is a way, Cassie said hesitantly. To be sure he's a controller, Rachel asked. No, her voice was stronger. A way to keep his family in school from knowing he's gone. Axe could do it. He can morph into Jake. Cassie. Amazing Cassie. She had the one possible solution. I wish so bad I could tell her right then how amazingly smart, cool person she was. But the Yerk in my head was not happy. What's the matter, Tim Rash 114 at Assault near our pool, I asked, not feeling so cocky anymore? He reached one delicate many-fingered hands on my face, and he pressed his fingers against my forehead. I'll acquire DNA now, Prince Jake. But the Yerk couldn't take it anymore. The Andalite's touch made him so fierce like a physical illness. Get your hand away from me, Andalite filth! He screamed aloud in a distorted version of my voice. But his tail landed into my jugular, and he knew very well how deadly fast it was. He didn't move. The Yerk stared wide-eyed. Well, Rachel said, at least now we're sure. No, you're wrong, my voice pleaded. He's just making me mad. Hey, it's just been a stressful morning, alright? Give me a break. Andalite filth, Tobias repeated. We're supposed to believe Jake would say that? Jake, because he's stressed out? Nah, not in this universe. Jake, Cassie said, looking into my eyes, I know you're still in there. I know you're afraid, but we'll get that thing out of your head, Jake. We will. Yeah, that was pretty clever. That was very clever on their part. Racism fails again, exactly. Chapter 19. Okay, Marco said, we need a place to keep him. We can't use anyone's home, Cass said, thinking aloud. We can't use my barn. My dad's in and out of there constantly. I know a place to buy, I said, not far from here. Old shack in the back of the woods. We can tie him up, Rachel said, but we'll have to have at least one of us there all the time to make sure he doesn't get away. I cannot help very much, Axe said. I'll be pretending to be Jake. Okay, Marco said, and the rest of us, Cassie, Rachel, and I'll rotate shifts on Tobias. Tobias stayed the whole time, except he has to go hunting. Okay, let's go, Rachel said. Come on, Jake, get up, we're out of here. Cassie came over and gave me her hand. She helped pull me out of feet. It was an odd moment because I could feel her touch, but I had no power to squeeze her hand or give her any assurance. But the Yerk did that for me. He deliberately held her hand for a few extra seconds. She cares for you, the Yerk said. She is their weak link. Rachel will be strong, so is a hawk and Andalite, but Marco, he thinks too much and has an interesting history. He is open to persuasion. I felt sick. The Yerk was opening my mind at will, reading whatever he wanted. I had no secrets from him. None. He already knew everything my friends, and if he got away... My feet began walking. Tobias led the way, appearing and disappearing in the trees above. Rachel walked ahead. Behind me, Marco and Axe. Cassie stayed at my side. From all we know, Jake, you can still hear and understand me. I know you can't answer, or if you do, it won't be you. But it is me, the Yerk said. Who else could it be? The Yerk, Cassie said calmly. You think control just because I yelled at Axe? Like I've never lost my temper before? Come on, it's just a bad day. For all of us, but especially me. Not so bad today, Axe piped over behind. How many Yerks were in that pool? How many survived those temperatures? Only you by getting inside Prince Jake. How many of your pool fellows died today? I could feel the Yerk bowling with rage. It was shocking and bizarre to feel so much emotion, like something he could not hide from me. I could feel his emotions even if I couldn't penetrate his thoughts. Axe, the Yerk said, I'm never happy when a creature has to be destroyed, but I don't feel any pity for this Yerk. They're out to enslave us. We did what we had to do. It was perfect. Exactly what I would have said, because it's exactly what I felt. I caught my ass like Cass gave me a puzzled expression. See? She already has doubts, the Yerk said. She is bothered by the Andalite's bloodthirst. She liked what I said more. Was he right? Would all my friends stand firm? How would they when everywhere I spoke sounded exactly like me? We marched through our woods that seemed like a very long time. None of us could move very fast, so we were without shoes. Tobias knew his woods well and less around brambles and rough patches, but still my feet were tender for an hour walking on pine needles and twigs. But the pain was so far away, like I was feeling for a distance, like I was shackled to a wall. Chained to a wall. I couldn't move my hand or even a finger. I couldn't blink my own eyes. I could not decide what direction to look or what sound to focus on. The Yerk's control was absolute. Almost there, Tobias said. I'm going higher to make sure the air is clear. All this walking. Such a waste of effort, the Yerk commented me. They couldn't possibly hold me against my will. Not for 3 hours, let alone 3 days. You heard Tobias, right, Jake? Cassie asked. Almost there. It's a good thing. My feet are killing me. I need to walk barefoot more often like I did when I was little. It's tough enough for time like these. Getting home would be easier. I could use my Oscar and fly home. Cassie, listen, the Yerk said. I know you guys think you're doing the right thing, but there's no way Axe can pull off being me. My parents will figure it out, or worse, Tom will figure it out. Then we're all dead. Don't you see what's happening here? And it's hypothetical, but I think Viriday has a good point there. If there are ones who don't want to colonize other worlds and take over people, they probably didn't bring them along. Shut up, Yerk, Rachel snapped. I've known Jake all my life. Marco's known him since we were kids. Cassie's known him for years. Between the 3 of us, we can teach Axe to pass for him. It'll never work, the Yerk said. Rachel stopped walking and turned to face me, blocking the way. She was swearing or seemed to be looking past me on my shoulder. No, you don't think so, Yerk? The Yerk stopped walking. Rachel, you're trying to impress me how tough you are. I know you're too smart to really believe me in this. And you know as well as I do this isn't gonna work. I disagree, a voice behind me. Humans believe what they see. And the Yerk whipped my head around, saying a few feet in front of me was me. Totally, absolutely me. Chapter 20. He was a perfect copy of me, like looking in a mirror. I morphed a while back, Axe said. I've been watching the way you walk and move to copy you better. Better. The Yerk grinned. You may look like me, but that ain't gonna be enough. I gave an hour before Tom figures it out. Marco looked at Rachel and cocked an eyebrow. Rachel looked at Cassie, who sighed and nodded her head. See, that's a stupid way to play it, Yerk, Marco said. If you really were Jake, you might be frustrated we wrongly suspected you. But you'd figure the smart thing to do would be to help play the role. Because if it were you, you would help Axe pull it off. Rachel curled her lip contemptuously. You just blew Final Jeopardy. You're still trying to make us let you go. By now, Jake would have realized he had to help us succeed. Ah, that's the third strike there. First was that look of revulsion, then there was what he shouted a bit ago, and now this. It's more subtle, but it's still there. The Yerk said nothing. I think he knew he made an error, but I still sensed absolute confidence, like a poker player holding an extra ace. We reached the shack. It was a depressing, fallen-down mess of a wood floor and log walls and a roof that only half covered the place. There was a bird's nest of some type in the rafters. Bushes had grown in for a hole in the wall. There were beer cans and soda cans around. They looked pretty old, nothing recent. Tobias had chosen well. We probably left alone for 3 days here. Tobias with his laser vision found a few feet of rope and old campground. He flew back with his talons and Rachel and Marco tied my hands on my back. Sorry, Jake, Marco said, but that's the way it is. You're still in there, you understand. Well, loosen the rope every couple hours so the circulation isn't cut off, Rachel said. I'll be here for the first shift. Cassie and Marco are going back with Axe to make him prepared to play you. He already has the serious responsible thing down. They just need to give him a sense of humor and stop him from playing with every sound he says. That sounded reasonable to me, but I was still nervous when only 2 of them be around to guard me. Of course, one of those 2 is Tobias. I can never run fast enough to hide from him, and Rachel can morph into a wolf. But it bothered me that the Yerk in my head had not lost his cockiness. In fact, he's reveling in a fantasy of promotions and power. Within a few hours, I will be back with my kind. I will personally tell Visifree all I know, and it'll be the end of your little band. The end. Visifree will promote me yet again. It'll be the fastest series of promotions ever. I'm already in the 100s. I could rise to the 90s. I'll be an undervisor. In a few years, who knows? I could be a visor. I think it's meant to be subvisor instead of undervisor. That could be a typo, but regardless. But it's more than just talk. I could see the pictures, too. The images his mind conjured up. They were sketchy, but I saw Visifree nodding at his head as my Yerk still my body showed him my friends. They were all bound and gagged and lying helpless on the floor of his blade ship. Why was I seeing this? The Yerk was able to shield his other thoughts. Was this too emotional for him to hide, or is he actually showing up for my benefit? Visifree would probably eat him, not gonna lie. Under Visor tail. I mean, it'd eat him if he did badly, and I don't know how I'd feel about him having a morph-capable body. That is something, too. I don't really know how I'd react to that, but, you know, let him dream. Do you have these fantasies a lot? I said, as cruelly as I could. You want to laugh at my fantasies? Should I delve into a few of yours? Let's see what's hidden deep in your brain, human. And then my horror was no longer in a cabin. It was a bright, huge gymnasium, but not exactly one. A sports arena with thousands and thousands of fans. I felt like crawling away. I knew this fantasy. It was kind of lame, I guess, but I couldn't escape. The Yerk could play my fantasy just sticking a cassette in a VCR. In a fantasy, people were cheering, and I was there in a pro uniform. Older, but still pretty much like myself. The game clock was at 5 seconds. 4, 3. I stepped and took an amazing 3-point shot from mid-court. Swoosh! The stadium went crazy, cheering, horns sounding, people chanting my name. And there was Cassie in the stands smiling. She was sitting with my parents. And there was Tom. He walked out of the court and threw his arms around me, patting me back. Great game, he said, as usual. End of fantasy. The image disappeared, and I suddenly felt very small, very unimportant, very weak. Ah, yes, the Yerk said, laughing. It shocks you I can play your thoughts back for you. Your brain is so different from me and while you're primitive human computers. I can play any file I like. I open any software. I can use you. I own you. I dominate you. You are nothing anymore. Just an echo. Just a ghost haunting the machine of your own brain. Yeah, I managed to say, well, you're a screw-up tied up in a cabin in the woods. In 3 days, you're gonna be dead. I won't be here 3 days, he said. You'll be here far from your stinking Yerk pool, no control rays, and you'll shrivel and die and crawl out of me. I've been calm, but then I lost control. You'll die. You'll die like the others died. You think you'll win? You'll lose. You'll lose. You can't control me. You can't control me. You can't control me. Oh, the Yerk said with silky menace. That's just what your brother said. At first. Should I show you? Should I show one of Tom's memories for you? I can feel you cringe away. I can feel your fear. Yes. Yes, I will. Here, enjoy a preview of your future. It was as if a third mind had joined us. So real, so completely real. Not like a vision or a movie. I felt this as if I was actually there. My brother's mind, his thoughts, his memories, as if I was seeing them myself. Tom, some piece of Tom the Earth still carried with him. It was just a few days earlier. He was sitting at breakfast table across from me. I saw his upper his eyes, and I looked distant, distracted, preoccupied. "Hey, Midget, what's up?" he asked me. "Not much, about you?" "Oh, I'm just going to a meeting." "The shearing?" "Yeah, we're doing some cleanup at a park, you know, do a part of our community and all. They were having a barbecue afterward. You should really join, you know, we spend more time together." It was just that I remembered, except now I felt Tom's emotions, not mine. The real Tom, the true Tom who'd been crushed beneath the Yerk's control. He was crying, sobbing helplessly, sadly. "Not Jake," he cried. "Leave Jake alone. Leave my brother alone. I'll never trouble you again. I swear, just leave Jake alone." The Yerk waited till full impact of direct contact with Tom's mind sank into mine. Tom was defeated. Desperate. He spent his time wishing he could die. He'd given up any hope of escape. Completely given up. "That is how it always is," the Yerk said. At first the host fights, or at least they try, but hour after hour and day after day they see they cannot rule their own bodies. The host sees that no one even knows what's happened. No one knows he's lost in his own head, and over time that hope dies. They become a faint, shattered creature, just like your brother. The Yerk was telling the truth, and that's what made it so terrible. It was true. I could feel Tom's complete, utter despair. I could feel he'd accepted defeat. I knew that all he wished now for was an end. And I knew also that I was no stronger than Tom, but still, one hope lingered in me. 3 days, I told the Yerk. In 3 days, you will die. Wait and see, human. Wait and see.